On this episode of the podcast, we take a look at the movie Life Itself, written and directed by Dan Fogelman, starring Oscar Isaac, Olivia Wilde, Annette Bening, Mandy Patinkin, Jean Smart, Olivia Cooke, Sergio Peris-Mencheta, Antonio Banderas, Laia Costa, and Àlex Monner. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with similar but different movie tastes take a quick look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
Is Life Itself a movie version of This Is Us? We'll tell you all about it right after these two trailers.
Okay, the first trailer is If Beale Street Could Talk. A woman in Harlem desperately scrambles to prove her fiancé innocent of a crime while carrying their first child. This movie has KiKi, Layne, Stephen James, and the lovely Regina King. Looks like a very, very good movie.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, the second trailer we saw was Beautiful Boy. Beautiful Boy chronicles the heartbreaking and inspiring experience of survival, relapse, and recovery in a family coping with addiction over many years. Stephen Carell and Maura Tierney. This movie looks very real and very raw, and I suspect could actually end up helping a lot of families.
One of the things I love about this movie, too, is the fact that, once again, Steve Carell is leaving the comedy world behind and going into drama, and he's actually really good at it. So
I agree. I think he's a very good actor.
Okay, so the movie we saw this week is Life Itself. This is about a young New York couple who goes from college romance to marriage and the birth of their first child. An unexpected twist along their journey reverberates and echoes across continents and through lifetimes. This movie is directed and written by Dan Fogelman, and this is the guy who brought us This Is Us. And he's written a lot of movies, a lot of Disney movies, or Pixar movies and Disney movies, Cars, Fred Claus, Bolt, Tangled, Cars 2, Crazy Stupid Love, and of course, like I said, he's the creator of This Is Us. It's got a great cast.
Yes, it definitely does. I mean, you're looking at Olivia Wilde, Annette Bening, Mandy Patinkin. I mean, I could go on and on. This is an incredible cast of people. This movie, though, it's a very, very heavy movie.
Yeah, this is a movie that's going to be hard for us to give you a review without spoiling it. But it's as April was just saying, it's a very heavy movie. It's a tearjerker. And this is what you expect. If you're a fan of This Is Us, you know what Dan Fogelman's all about. And this movie is going to pull at, if you're a human being and have a heart, it's going to pull at everything you've got, and you're going to just be at the end of the movie.
Most definitely. I mean, the theme of the movie is everyone is part of a greater story, and I like the theme. I just, it's very, I have to be careful in this movie review, but it's very heavy, and there is definitely tragedy in the movie. I have to say that because it's that part is very, very real and very, very raw.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. If you listen to or have read any other reviews on this movie, some of the people talk about how you really have to suspend belief when you go see this movie because of all the different stories and how they intertwine with each other in this movie. Well, my argument back to those people would be, if you go see the Avengers, you have to suspend belief. I mean, any sci-fi movie, you have to suspend belief. So, yes, this is not a sci-fi movie. It's not a superhero movie. But in most movies, you have to suspend belief. That's kind of the magic of the movies.
No, and I do agree with that. And also, too, to be a human and to live in our beautiful world and to every day wake up and experience life, there are miracles. There are strange occurrences every minute of every day, for the better and for the better of the good, some days, and some days not. But in the end, it is about how we move through life.
This movie, it has, I think, 4 different storylines going throughout the movie. Similar, once again, to This Is Us.
Right.
He's got multiple storylines going, and these storylines intertwine with each other at different points in the movie.
And for me, it was a little hard. Tim, most people know me really well. I just like a movie to start. You do it, and then it finishes. Where this starts and finishes, and then it flows together. For me, sometimes it was a little, I don't know. I just wish it was more, Tim, what's my word? More
cohesive, coherent.
Yes. No, cohesive is a good one. Now, don't get me wrong. It all made sense. And you're going to sit through this movie and never once get bored or, get distracted. But it just, sometimes there's something about the time frame. It just, for me, it was just, I had to think too much is what I'm saying. The
time frame does jump around a lot in this movie, but I think that's part of the way it was written on purpose that way, to kind of confuse you and keep you guessing about what was happening and how these different stories intertwined with each other.
Right. And I think that when he created this, that's what he meant. I just don't think that telling the story that way is going to hit everyone the right way every single time.
No, it's not. I mean, like I said earlier, if you're not a person with a warm heart and like this kind of stuff, you're going to be bored with this movie, I think. So,
right.
One of the things for me, what I really like, some of the cinematography in this, the movie's set in New York, but there is one of the storylines is set in Spain, in the countryside in Spain. And for me, the cinematography in Spain and just that storyline that had Antonio Banderas in it.
Oh, yeah.
And a few others. I really enjoyed that part of the movie and that part of the story.
It was absolutely gorgeous, and it didn't help us with again, we had our daughter. It was the last movie we got to see with her before she got on a plane. But she, pushing and pushing to go to Spain. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it makes me really want to go visit Spain.
And she won that just because we saw the movie and had a chance to process that. But I enjoyed that. I loved the scenes too on that farm. That part was great. Production design, all fine there. The editing sometimes was a bit confusing.
Well, I think that was the timeline thing, though, pretty much. So
yeah, maybe it was more of a writing gimmick than an editing. I don't know.
Could be. I think you might be right there. For me, one of the things about this movie that I didn't particularly care for, to me, the dialogue, I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong, but at times it really felt pushed and contrived to pull at your emotions. I think at points with both the dialogue and the acting, that sometimes I think the acting was a little bit overacted too, to just wring that last little tear out of the corner of your eye. I don't know.
Yeah, now I disagreed with that. Tim and I disagree on this very much, actually. I don't. I think it was very well acted. And I felt like the dialogue, that wasn't my issue with the movie. Everything set well. It was so deeply heavy. If you are a true human being that understands relationships, human behavior, human psychology, if you like to think about anything I just said in your life or reflect or read about, this is about life.
Life itself, apparently.
Yes. But again, I just want to prepare the audience for a very, very, seriously heavy movie. Tim, what do you think about ratings on this movie?
Okay. For me, this movie, I'm hesitant here. I want to say 2.5, maybe pushing it up to 3. Listen, if you're in a good mood and you're having a great day, don't go see this movie. If you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend and want to have a good cry, go see this movie. Me personally, I know most of America is in love with the TV show This Is Us. I'm not one of those people. I hated This Is Us and I stopped watching This Is Us.
Wow.
Well, that's for another podcast,
right.
not this episode. But to me, and I felt that this movie was forced and it was all about trying to get you to cry, in my opinion.
Okay.
So to me, I'll go with 2.75.
Okay. Well, I'm going to repeat that rating actually. Because this movie, it's well acted. It's a great cast. I think my issue with it is I saw the preview and I think I went in with a totally different expectation. And I need to do better with that. Number one, especially with our reviews, but also to prepare myself to not go in thinking that it's going to be one way and I'm going to feel one way and then it's completely different. So that's my take on it. Someday we can talk about This Is Us, not today, but I know that it's also a great cast, a great TV show. Tim and I made a decision on that show, for a personal reason, and we can talk about it another time. But I wanted to say that it was well acted, well done, and very, very serious about relationships, life, and human behavior and human love. So that's what I have to say.
Hey, if you're ever in Atlanta and you want to go to a really good independent movie theater, please go to the Spring Cinema and Tap House. It's our home theater, and we love that place. It's a great independent theater.
Sure is. I love the vibe, and I am told the beer there is very fantastic.
They have a great IPA on tap. Hey, if you haven't already done so, I know you've heard this a couple of times already. Please go out to hesaidshesAidmovies.com/subscribe and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss one of our excellent reviews.
All right, everybody. We will see you at the movies, and we sure appreciate your support.
Yes, we do. See you at the movies.
Bye-bye.